Has anyone else noticed this really weird void in the gaming space recently? These last 5 or so years of gaming have left me feeling completely numb. And I don't care about the multiplayer scene anymore. It takes one of my favourite hobbies and turns it into something that is both highly competitive and needlessly stressful. So since leaving multiplayer games basically behind, I've been kind of drifting between different games and trying to find something that can fill that void. To be honest though, I kind of find myself exclusively playing old games at this rate. I just crave wanting to find something that captures that old feeling again. Now obviously with the videos I've made before, I'm still having a blast being a cowboy in Red Dead 2 and being a farmer on Stardew Valley, but the issue I'm raising is that these games seem bloody endless. These games have got so much things to do. Granted, it's good stuff in some of them, but I feel like there's a trend in the industry in order to keep me playing a game longer rather than making me play it to enjoy it the whole way through. But despite my love for these games, I often find myself wanting to play something easily digestible. Just a good time from start to finish when I don't really have the time to dedicate to something bigger. Now, scouting the AAA industry, trying to find a game that matches that criteria is going to be near impossible. It seems like now more than ever, these kind of games do not bring in the money that some 100-hour slop-fest always online game would. So there I was, on Steam, doing the classic scroll technique, looking at all the different games that I had in my library, but all of them seemed like so much investment of my time in order to beat them. Then just as I'm about to pack it in, this little title comes up. A title that I hadn't actually got around to really playing when it came out, but I bought it. So it was just sitting there, patiently waiting for my time to be right. And oh man, was the time right. This game was Mafia, the Definitive Edition.
You doing this? We're doing it.
Hey, fellas, sorry to keep you waiting. My shift just started. What you having?
2 lunch specials, please. And more coffee. You know what? Let's bring the whole pot.
Leave the pot in, I'll make my own coffee, it's alright. 2 minutes, pal. Sorry, pal, I like it a certain way. It's an absolute staple, oh my goodness. So the Mafia games were set in a time period before the Redditors ruined the fedora.
You don't fucking know anything about this hat, idiots.
Mafia takes place in 1930s America, where we take control of Tommy Angelo, a struggling to get by taxi driver who is forced into mob activity when 2 armed men force him to drive him away from trouble. From this point on, Tommy dips his toes into the life of being a mobster, with the sense of money blurring his vision as he becomes more and more involved in the Salieri family. The game tackles themes such as loyalty, selling your morale for wealth, and things like betrayal and the importance of family. It never once feels like an empty cash grab. It kind of feels like the old school style of game. I wrote that down in my script thinking that would look really cool. I bet I looked like a fucking idiot. Back to Mafia. Mafia the Definitive Edition is the golden standard that I will use in terms of how a remake should be done. It is also a gold standard in what happens when a AAA budget is put into a story-driven linear game. Never felt like a cash grab, unlike the Definitive Edition treatment that we got in Mafia 2. Instead, Mafia 1 was a complete rebuild of the original game, the 2002 original, with new graphics, a new engine, a new cleaner, more bombastic finish to the soundtrack, and new voice actors. Rose-tinted glasses, people, listen, it was needed, right? You all saying Mafia the original was so much better than the remake, brother.
Yes! Yes!
It also had an old school style of game, which had a mission/chapter function to the game, which was a nice linear progression with a start, middle and end, something you never see in the AAA industry anymore. So refreshing just putting an hour into this game and feeling like I was getting ever so closer to beating it. I have become so accustomed to games that are 40, 80, 100 hours long that just require a fucking part-time job in order to beat it. My chances of beating a game like that is almost zero. Unless your name is Death Stranding, in which I have just started my second playthrough and I'm having a blast already. What a fucking game, by the way.
Hello!
Somewhere along the line, these games will start to diminish in terms of my investment overall. These games are requiring so much hours that eventually you're going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again, and that will become tiresome. Unless your name is Death Stranding. But it is games like Mafia that we are sorely missing in this industry right now. Games that are 12 hours long, have a satisfying start, middle and end, has a good conclusion and leaves you fulfilled. There is no need for the game to take its foot off the gas because you are not a high enough level yet. Please no. Never mind leveling up my character. Other games need to level up their attention to detail, like in Mafia the Definitive Edition. Look at the way this man's neck muscles are moving while he's talking. That is fucking next level shit. That is incredible. That is stuff I do remember. Through the 12-hour experience that I had, I found myself never getting bored, never eager for the game to hurry up and conclude, and I never felt the need to subvert my expectations because it ran out of ideas. Did it, Neil? It has almost identical gameplay to that of Mafia 3 because it is within the same engine, so it effectively took the best thing from Mafia 3 and put it inside an even better game. Sounds like a win-win to me. Going to have to give it a 0 out of 10 though, because there's no, bird feathers littered throughout the map for me to collect, because I'm sad my little brother died. No, hang on, calm down, I love this. Oh, and speaking of Ubisoft, does anyone remember the time that they charged us to level up at a reasonable pace in Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Who paid for that? I'm sorry. But that was the definition of greed and overall poorly executed progression. If you're anything like me, then you understand that a return to form has to happen. A return to linear, story-driven games that exist for no other reason than to entertain us. This is our hobby and we need to defend it. I am sick of being lectured. I am sick of buying a game that isn't fucking finished. And I'm tired of being a fucking beta tester. This is not the norm. We cannot accept this as the norm. Remember being around for the times of Gears of War, Halo, Max Payne 3, Praise the Sun, Bioshock, Uncharted, The Last of Us. But what do all these games have in common? They are there for the sole purpose to entertain us and keep us there to enjoy a decent length game that is entertaining from start to finish. The story and impact and gameplay of them alone is what keeps you there. Not DLCs, not future content, not battle passes. It is all there and packaged into a singular thing that you can enjoy right now as soon as you get it. Day fucking one. They had a start, middle and end. That 360 and PS3 era of gaming is over. Getting a full release on launch being the norm is no longer a thing. It is now the norm to release a game not finished. It feels like a lifetime ago. I haven't completely lost hope though. I feel like companies are starting to realise, however, that this is no longer the way forward because gamers are actually starting to fight back. Gamers want to be entertained first and foremost. That is why we love this industry. It is our hobby and we want to be entertained. With games like Indiana Jones, Black Myth Wukong and Space Marine 2, these games got such high appraisal in sales because they were entertaining first. Their sole purpose was to entertain you when it came out. And if anything this industry has shown us is wherever the money is, the execs and the publishers will soon follow. Gaming used to feel like it was created by people with passion. It used to feel like a bunch of people in sweaters and high-waist jeans made some fucking incredible franchise and were given the ability to make whatever it is they want to make. Because it feels like the people in charge are now the ones making the call. It seems like they are now the ones who have control over creativity. Gaming as a business always existed though, of course it did. This is an industry and an industry has to make a profit. No one's denying that. The problem with it is when the people in charge have control over the creative process of making a game. Like when I seen the game Destiny come out, and out of pure moral obligation to the greatest franchise of all fucking time, I bought this game a couple months after it came out because I heard some early reviews that it wasn't very good, but Listen, it's Bungie. Of course it's going to be good. I thought it was pish. It didn't have a fucking story. The narrative wasn't even average. It was bad. And I mean day one Destiny. It was bad. And then lo and behold, we start to see reports that Joe Staten, the fucking almighty himself, completely had his story scrapped because it had a fucking ending.
I could tell you.
Now, I can probably say allegedly this story's true, but when I look at the company of Bungie now, and the publisher at the time, Activision, you tell me that doesn't sound like it's fucking true. That's probably fucking true, boys. Come on. I mean, Activision's more shady than the staircase in Resident Evil 7. Tangent aside, there has been a return to form, or at least I can see the foundation of it coming back. The titles I mentioned before all show that to me, but the game that made me think that the return is coming is actually with the new Mafia game, Mafia: The Old Country. But of course, I could be wrong. Hangar 13 missed completely with Mafia 3. Mafia 3, the problem with Mafia 3 is it never wanted to stand on its own legs and boldly say, I am Mafia. It wanted to say, I kind of want to be like Grand Theft Auto. And that is what hurt it from being a good fucking game. It took on board, personally, an invalid criticism against the first two games, where the world that we explored in Mafia 1 and 2 were dead. But the problem with that is that you're taking away the primary part of Mafia, which is the fact that it is a story-driven, narrative-based game. The game exists to tell an emotional story for you to enjoy. Mafia 3 sacrificed that good story in order to make the open world feel more alive. And what we got was a 5 out of 10 game. If Mafia does not need 100 hours of content. It doesn't need endless side missions, endless places to explore. It needs, like I've said before, start, a middle, and an end that is good. Mafia 3 did not give that to us. Mafia Definitive Edition is more fucking like it, brother. This is what makes me excited for the next Mafia, because I know that Hangar 13 has this in them. They have the ability to make this. Go play Mafia, boys. Seriously. It is the absolute pinnacle, in my opinion, to what happens when you put a AAA budget into a story-driven linear game. It has incredible facial animations, an amazing story that had me emotional upon its conclusion. Probably one of the best voice acting casts I've ever seen, and a soundtrack that I absolutely adore. It's the whole package. Completing this game gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time, a desire for more, but at the same time I'm happy it ended when it did, and the conclusion had me absolutely bawling my eyes out, and I hope that you decide to pick this game up if you haven't, or if you already have played it, give it another go, because it does deserve it. This is entertainment. This is what happens when the AAA industry works for us. And with Mafia: The Old Country, I patiently wait its return to form. So thank you for watching, have a good one. It is bloody cold in the sunroom today, and I'm going to go play some Death Stranding probably. Yeah, goodbye.